our MC for today, Mark Wax.
Okay, thank you, Rosie. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We are so excited to have you with us this Friday afternoon for our first Meet the Executives event of the semester. The theme of this event is Leaders in the Legal Field, and we are so happy to have Elizabeth Yang and Christianne Finch Kerns with us today. So thank you both so much for coming and joining us. My name is Mark Wax. I am the moderator of this event, and I'm also the VP of Operations with the Leadership Scholars. I would first like to introduce Rosie to talk a little bit about the Center for Leadership and what our mission is. So Rosie, take it away.
Thanks, Mark. So I'm Rosie. I'm the Program and Event Specialist for the Center for Leadership. At the Center for Leadership, we do three things, which are right on our screen: connect, develop, and serve. Our center is ran by a really great man named Jay Barbuto. He is our director. He's also a professor at Cal State Fullerton. So some of you guys may have met him through one of your classes, or maybe that's how you heard about our program, and so on. The way that we connect and develop and serve are through our events like this. We have a Meet the Executive event once a month where we invite two C-suite executives like Christianne and Elizabeth today. Typically, we try to host these in person, but of course, as the university said, we have to be remote until the 7th. We also have some development workshops where our development board puts on events for you guys to develop your professional skills. This semester, we have a couple coming up, one on emotional intelligence, one on resume and cover letter building skills and such. We also offer site visits where we do company tours. We have socials and stuff like that, things so you guys can connect with each other and build that, mentorship amongst each other. And then we also have our community outreach events, which is put on by our community outreach board. We do things at like Ronald McDonald's House, Mary's Soup Kitchen. You guys may have also participated in our Emergent Titans Buddy program, which our community outreach board oversees as well. So there's lots of events and opportunities for you all to participate in within this program. They're all completely free to students, and we're open for all majors. So doesn't matter what you're majoring in. You don't have to be a business student. I know a few of you guys are not business students, so we're happy to welcome all students. This is just our team at the center. So me, which you guys know because I work directly with you all. We have Danya Bari. She's our business and community specialist. She works a lot with our alumni program and our faculty and our companies doing consulting programs. And then Mesbah, she's one of our newer members to the team. She's been with us about, let's say 5 months now. She's our coordinator at the Center for Leadership. So if you come upstairs in Mahalo Hall on the 5th floor, you guys will see us there. And now I'm going to pass it back over to Mark so he can share a little bit about our student boards with you all.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Rosie. So as always, we encourage you to get involved. And once you have participated in 3 of our events, you're invited to join us in achieving our mission of providing invaluable resources to every student on campus. So you can make an impact through one of our 5 boards, which you can see on the screen here. We have the development board, which develops and plans the interactive workshops that we offer on campus, which is part of the develop portion of our mission statement. We have human resources, which engages with all areas of membership, from inviting eligible scholars to join to awarding the scholarship money that is based upon the member participation. We have marketing, which is essential to encourage new membership and to get the word out about all the amazing and free opportunities the Center for Leadership provides for the campus community. We have operations, which is the group I'm a part of, and we're responsible for organizing the Meet the Executive series. And then we have community outreach, which partners with the community to create meaningful volunteer opportunities for our members to volunteer and to give back. So we now want to encourage you to join us for some of our upcoming events. The first one is our Letters of Love event, which is a community outreach program where we write letters of gratitude and encouragement to frontline workers. This event will be held next Monday, February 7th in room SGMH 1108 from 4 to 5 p.m. and is organized by the Community Outreach Board. We also have our welcome meeting, which will be held next Wednesday, February 9th from 2:30 to 3:30 in the O'Brien Center. And then finally, our next Meet the Executives event is going to be on the theme HR and Career Management, and that will be held on Friday, March 4th from 1:30 to 4, also in the O'Brien Center. So we hope to see you all there. So now I'd like to pass it off to Janet Ong to introduce our first executive.
Thank you, Mark. Hi, guys. My name is Janet. I'm currently a fourth year at Cal State Fullerton, and I'm so excited to introduce Elizabeth Yang to you guys. I recently had the amazing opportunity to meet with attorney Elizabeth Yang, the founder and CEO of Yang Law Offices, to get to know more about her. Did you guys know that this isn't her first time guest speaking at a Meet the Executives? In fact, this is her third time returning as a guest speaker. We obviously love learning from her, and we greatly appreciate her commitment and support for the Center of Leadership. Attorney Elizabeth Yang has been practicing law for 15 years with a specialization in family law, business law, estate planning, and intellectual property. But she wasn't always in the legal field. Elizabeth did her undergrad in electrical engineering and computer science at the University of California, Berkeley. After undergrad, she began working at Raytheon. But while working, she decided to go to law school. After getting an MBA at the University of Laverne, she began to practice at a large international firm before starting her own practice. And when she's not managing her business or doing her attorney duties, she enjoys spending her time with her 2 children, traveling with her family, and she also enjoys writing and publishing books. She's written and published 6 books, and most of them were done over the pandemic. Talk about being efficient and productive. Let's give it up for Elizabeth Yang. Thank you so much for coming and speaking with us today.
Thank you so much, Janet.
Sorry, I was muted. Thank you, Janet. Now, Michael Batorak will introduce our next executive.
Great. Can everyone hear me?
Yep.
Excellent. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Michael Batorak. I'm on the marketing and development boards here in the Center for Leadership, a second year here at Cal State Fullerton. And I have the honor and privilege of introducing Chris Kerns today. As previously mentioned, she received an award last semester through Leadership Scholars. We're so happy to have you as a partner with our center, and we love everything that you do for us and how we can work together and help bring leadership to more students. While Ms. Kerns and I both share a passion for Disney and marketing and helping others, she initially started off with her sociology degree and a position in marketing, but she felt she wanted to do something more. Legal is the arena that Chris felt that she could help others and be challenged to grow in the process. When I asked her what she would like us all to take away from today, she said, "Don't be deterred by insurmountable hurdles. Expand your horizons, and the opportunities will come in ways you can't even imagine." It is my pleasure to introduce Chris Kerns.
Thank you, Michael. Nice to be here.
Okay, so now we are going to go to the Q&A portion of the event, and the operations board has prepared a list of questions for the executives to answer. Also, please take note of any questions you may have and save them for when we break out into our breakout rooms, which will come later in the event. So now we're going to start with our first question. So this is for both of our executives. What are some of the characteristics of leaders that you have come across that you admire? So whoever wants to go first is fine.
So I can talk a little bit about that. Thanks, Mark. So, strong leaders come in all shapes and sizes. There's no single personality or single set of characteristics or traits that make a good leader. Most importantly, what any organization needs at any particular time, it'll vary depending on the circumstances. That being said, to lead effectively, I think in business organizations, I believe leaders need to be courageous. They need to be forward thinking. They need to be caring and compassionate for their people. They need to be eager to learn. They need to be flexible and strong, decisive. And they need to be willing to fight to benefit all of their stakeholders. That stakeholders include shareholders, customers, employees, and other parties and entities that are important to the ongoing success of the company.
Yeah, I agree with everything Christianne said. And to add upon that, I believe leaders should have a really clear vision of why they're doing what they're doing. Without that clear vision, it's really easy to stray and get distracted. And you know, we've all got feelings, and feelings come and go, and feelings can change on a minute by minute basis. So the question is, do we act based on how we're feeling today, or do we act based on what our vision is? If we focus on our vision, then it's okay if we're having a bad day, or if we're not feeling well, or whatever's going on. You know, maybe it's raining instead of it being sunny. Doesn't matter how we're feeling, as long as we know what our vision is and we have really clear vision.
All right, thank you both so much. So our next question is, what skills do college students need to be successful in the career of law?
So I think that's really important, and we can look at different things, but I want to sort of put things in baskets, if you will. I think, first of all, students need to be intellectually curious. I think you need to read, educate yourself on the issues of the day, and have educated opinions about things. You know, there's really no right answer to so many things, but understand that you need facts and a thoughtful analysis to support your opinions and your positions. I think students need to be self-starters. Don't wait for someone to come along and chart a course for you. Be assertive. You take charge of your life and move forward in the path that you've decided. I think you need to know your surroundings, understand what it takes to be successful in your undergraduate school in order to get into a good law school. Understand what it takes to be successful in law school in order to be able to get a good job first job out of law school. So always be thinking forward about your next step and your next 3 steps, and figure out what person do I want to be in order to do that successfully. Then I really have to say, work hard. Working hard is kind of the key to everything. And law school is not different. You have to work really hard to be successful in law school and to be a lawyer. You want to take your commitment seriously. Don't take on more projects or causes or charity work than you can do well. Only commit to what you can do well, and then do it. And then I think finally, this is something that I think comes with experience. You're certainly not born with it, but being savvy, it's very helpful. If you're going to need help with any of this, go figure out how to get what you need. If you need career advice, talk to lawyers. Find somebody who will sit down and talk to you about it. If you get a job and postpone starting law school if you need help to afford law school. You know, most law schools will be able to give financial aid, but sometimes it helps just to stop out for a couple of years and build your savings account. So, you know, there's a lot of things that go into being successful, but sort of mapping out your path in sort of broad brush and looking at how you get there, then you can be intentional in how you get that.
Yeah, those are really great words of wisdom. For me, I would say for all the students here, figure out what your best way of learning is. Who has heard of the learning pyramid? I'm gonna share my screen. I just pulled up a visual of the learning pyramid. If you just go on Google and you search learning pyramid, there's like a lot of different graphics. Do you guys see my screen?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
But I'm really looking forward to seeing it.
I don't know.
Yeah,
okay.
We can see it now.
Now you can see it. Okay, so here's one example. Basically, like there's studies that show if you are being lectured to, the average retention rate is only 5%. So that's like the lowest learning type. If you read something, you retain 10% of it. If you look at something or hear something like an audiobook, or watch a video, you retain 20% of it. Demonstration, 30%. If you have a group discussion, you retain 50% of it. If you actually do something, 75%. And if you go and teach someone else how to do something, it's 90%. So for me, I'm a visual audio person and also practice by doing. So when I was in law school, it was a lot of lecture and reading, and that didn't really support me. Like, I feel like everything I do now in my day-to-day job is all stuff that I learned on the job by getting experience. So I would say figure out what your best way of learning is and learn that way. Like, if you're the same as me, practice by doing, then go and get internships. Go and get as much job experience as possible and learn on the job. Some people are just really good at reading and audio. If that's what, resonates with you, then go out and read books and do research, read the law, read everything about the law, read cases, but figure out how you best learn. And that will support you. For me, when people tell me like, how did law school support you? I always say like, law school just helped me get a degree, but everything I do, I'm an IP and I practice IP law, business law, and family law. I did not take a single IP class in law school. I did not take a single family law class in law school or estate planning. Everything I learned, I end up learning from the jobs that I've had. So make sure you get lots of internships or externships, working in judges' chambers, and get practice.
I would like to add on that, Elizabeth. That's very good observation. So law school is actually not set up. It's not really designed to teach you how to be a lawyer. Law school is designed to teach you how to read and analyze and think. And from there, you're expected on your own to go out and figure out how to be a lawyer. So exactly as Elizabeth describes, get internships, work with different people. And coming out of law school, nobody expects you to know how to be a lawyer. So understand that those first 5 years as a lawyer are very foundational. You have to build your expertise from the basic foundation is law school, but learning how to be a lawyer comes after law school.
Yeah. And if anyone wants to do litigation, like do mock trial, or do something that allows you to like be in front of a mock jury or a mock judge and practice those argument skills, because you can't read and be a good litigator. It comes with practice and confidence.
All right, thank you both so much. Our next question is, what has been one of the most challenging situations in your work career?
Challenging situations. Well, I deal with it all the time because I practice family law a lot, and I deal with really stressed out clients. They always say, like, for criminal lawyers, you're seeing bad people, you're seeing the best side of bad people. But in family law, you're seeing the worst side of good people. So I'm seeing the good people at their worst, because they're either really hurt, they're really emotional, they're going through one of the most difficult times in their lives. Divorce is not easy. And so they're like, very emotional, crying in my office, stressed out, angry, hostile, aggressive. We deal with restraining orders. So it's very challenging. Client control is very challenging just because of how emotional they are. And also being able to go home and leave work at work, leave work in the office and not take it home. That's really important. So I've done different things. Like there's a practice through Reiki where you like clean off yourself at work. You just clear off all the negative energy and you go home, and home is separate from work. keep that negative energy out of your safe space.
That's a good point. So Mark, you asked about the most challenging situation, and what Elizabeth describes is absolutely right. I think any lawyer, most lawyers, maybe not all, but most lawyers do have challenging jobs. The whole reason for our being is to help people and help solve problems. And people bring pretty emotional problems. Even in business, they're difficult problems to solve. And so it is a stressful profession. Me personally, my most challenging situation really has been the last 2 years. And I think probably most people would say that. But, you know, running a firm, it's been really challenging. Remote working, you know, lawyers can work anywhere. We work around the clock, we work anywhere, but staff, we never figured we can work remotely with secretaries working from home or accounting department working at home. That's been difficult. Worrying about the safety and health of all of our people, trying to figure out the rules and what the rules are. And is that really going to be the best thing for our people? Is that what's going to keep them safe and healthy? I don't know. That's been a challenge. Learning and growing and being sensitive to people with backgrounds which may not look like mine. I've always thought that I'm very open and open to all different walks of life, different people with different viewpoints. I've always been interested in that. But I think the last couple of years have showed us that maybe I'm not, maybe I can do better. So I think, you know, those kinds of things in the last couple of years have been difficult. You know, look, in a law firm, we're in a service business. We care about our people and we care about our clients, and their stresses and their angst become ours. So that's hard. Making sure that everyone is taken care of has been a bit of a juggling act. So that's really the most challenging, has really been the last couple of years for me. But to Elizabeth's point, I think the practice of law is pretty challenging by definition.
All right, thank you so much. Our next question is, what is your best advice on how to make your way onto a new team or in a new company?
So many pieces of advice. I think adaptability is really important. Not being rigid, being open, being flexible, not being a victim, but being responsible. Because in any situation, you can either choose to take responsibility and own it, or you can choose to put the responsibility in the other person's shoes and blame them for whatever is going wrong. So in any situation, ask yourself, how am I being responsible? And if you're not being responsible, then you're giving your power to your other team members. You know, if you're saying, oh, so-and-so is so difficult to work with, you're giving your power to them and you're not owning the situation, and they have the power to make your life easier or not. So if you ask yourself, how am I taking responsibility? Then the power comes back to you and you figure out how to shift yourself to shift your team.
I agree with everything. That's good advice, Elizabeth. I would also add that find out why you're on the team. What's your role? What are the expectations they have of you? And what do you bring to the table? So understand, you know, sort of orient yourself to your position, and then understand who else is on the team and what are their roles. And once you understand the sort of the lay of the land like that, then be proactive. Take your role or your job seriously. As Elizabeth says, take responsibility, and don't wait for somebody to tell you what to do. Assess the situation and make a plan of action. You, as a new member of the team or the company, you will need input and information from a supervisor or team leader, but do your homework first. Understand the situation, make a plan, and take that plan to discuss it. Answer as much as you can before you go talk to anybody, and then seek advice. Number one, you will look intelligent and you will look like you care and want to be a good team player, but also you will get a much better interaction, better communication to help you actually participate on that team and do your job well.
All right, excellent advice. Thank you so much. So our next question is, when did you know that you wanted to be a leader in your field?
For me, you know, like I would rather be a leader than a follower. And as a W-2 employee, because when I first became a lawyer, I worked at law firms, I felt very restricted. You know, like I started working at a big law firm with over 800 attorneys internationally, and the pay was great, but the billable hours was really high. And so when I had my daughter, for that first year, I barely saw her. I was going to work before she was awake. I would work long hours, come home, and she'd be asleep already. And after the first year, I was like, if I keep this going, you know, my daughter's going to think my nanny is her mom. I'm not going to have any time to mother her. And so that's when I shifted. I'm like, I'm going to choose to be a leader in this field, come out and start my own practice rather than work for, you know, other firms and report to partners. Even if I make partnership, it's still like, you know, very stressful at a big law firm. So that's why I decided to come out, start my own practice. And now I manage 30 attorneys, but I can, like, right after this, I'm going to leave and go to school and pick up my kids from school and take them to ice skating class. You know, I've got flexibility. I create my own schedule as a leader. So just like Chris was saying earlier, if you are working for a company or on your own, don't wait to be told what to do. You can either wait and just follow instructions and be a follower, or you can be proactive and choose your own journey and take action. And that's what companies look for in promotions. They want people who will step up to the plate, take a risk, not be afraid to be wrong, and try out new things and lead, you know, because leaders are not always correct. We make mistakes all the time, and it's okay because we're learning.
That's good advice, Elizabeth. You know, you asked, when did I know that I wanted to be a leader in my field? I have very strong opinions about how things should be, strong opinions about service to give to clients, service that a law firm needs to provide. I wanted to participate in the conversations about how we as a firm function, and the ultimate service that of being, you know, service being to represent clients. A path to leadership sort of flows from there. You're brought into the conversation, whether it's on committee work in a firm, or just, you know, whether that's in your department or overall firm. It just sort of evolved, right? It just evolved, and wanting to put my mark on how we do it is how I just sort of grew into this. So I don't think there was a particular point in time when I knew, oh, I wanted to be a leader. It's just, I probably always was opinionated and always wanted to do it my way. So, and by the way, Elizabeth, I too, for the first 3 years of my son's life, I went to work before he got up, often would come back home after he's already down for the night. And that, you know, the life of a big firm lawyer is very intense. And the training is exponential and it's excellent, but it comes at a pretty darn big price. So I had to leave the big firm as well, and glad I did, but well, it was a trade-off.
Awesome. Thank you both so much. So our next question is, how do you build a high performance team in law?
You know, high performance teams are not accidental. You really need to figure out what you need and the qualities in a person, and, you know, what role you're looking to fill. And then you have to be very clear and very intentional about it. And then there's a huge element of luck. You got to find the right person. And honestly, that's hard. So I don't have a great answer. I can tell you academically how to do it, but it's not easy. Maybe Elizabeth has figured that out. I'd like to do that.
No, I was laughing at that question because, you know, after 15 years of practicing law and having my own practice for so many years, it's still a challenge on a day-to-day basis. And I don't think anyone's figured it out. I mean, look at President of the United States, you know, or like some of our top leaders in the world, Elon Musk. I'm sure every day they're still facing challenges with their team. And that's the fun of it all, you know, being able to start a new day, come into our team and be open to all the problems and challenges that come our way. We call them yes moments. When there's a breakdown, we go, yes, because with every breakdown, there's a possibility and opportunity for a breakthrough. Without the lows, there are no highs, right? Like for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So you can live your life flat and, you know, no breakdowns, nothing goes wrong, but then you don't have the highs either. So you got to have sorrows and the grief and all that in order to really appreciate the joys and the happy moments. So I think leadership is just surrendering, and like Christianne said, being open to anything happening. Yeah, not being attached to how it's supposed to look like.
It's fairly fluid.
Yes, very fluid, and based on luck too.
A lot of luck.
A lot of luck. Yeah. Sometimes the right people will just apply for your position and they start and they're like, oh my gosh, these are amazing people. And sometimes they'll come in for a perfect interview. Like you're like, oh, this is like the perfect candidate. And then they're like awful after they start.
So disappointing.
Yeah. So it's really based on luck and also like energy. You know, like one person might be a disaster in one company, but go to another company and be like a great leader. So it really depends on the energy of the team too.
Yeah.
All right, excellent. Our next question is, what does success look like in your position and how do you measure it?
So I am the managing partner of a very old law firm. It's over 120 years old. And so there's a lot in our firm that's sort of an institutional way of life, right? So it's in an institutional way we do things. So as managing partner, I have really wanted to look at a lot of the policies and procedure ways we do things and shake it up a bit. I think, bringing it into, the 2020s has been a lot of work, but I also, I see a lot of success in that. So I'm grateful for that. But the traditional metrics of a law firm is what we would sort of look at to measure. I would look at firm metrics such as productivity and profitability on different levels, department and firm-wide basis. I look at employee engagement. Are employees engaged in the work? Are they engaged in the firm? Are they engaged in the business that we do? And again, remember, the business we do is provide service for our clients. I look at the longevity of our lawyers and staff with the firm. If I had a high turnover, I would feel that was not a success. So, correct selection decisions hopefully turns into more longevity with the firm. So that to me is a measure of success. I also look at, and this is probably the most important in a law firm, is looking at client loyalty. Are the clients loyal to us? And how do we continue to earn that? Client loyalty is not an entitlement. You have to earn it each and every day. And so that's a difficult one, but those are all the kinds of things that I look at success for the law firm. And I think that's a reflection of my success.
Do you guys know what the difference between success and fulfillment is? Anybody?
Two different things.
Yeah, it's two different things. So success is getting what you want, and fulfillment is giving what you've got. So success, in our law firm is hitting the numbers, bringing in the revenue, getting the clients, winning the cases, all that, getting what you want. But fulfillment is where what we do on a daily basis becomes rewarding. So in my field, in family law, it's seeing the difference we're able to make in families when we settle a case, let's say, and we mediate and we get a child custody order. Having those parents be able to amicably communicate and co-parent going forward, and knowing that is going to completely change the lives of the children that are being affected by that case. So difference between success and fulfillment.
Awesome. Thank you both so much. So our next question is, if you had the power to change one thing in law today, what would it be?
So I think there's a kind of a scourge on the law that people, they love to make fun of, and that's sort of the lawyers who operate at the lower rungs of ethics. I would really, if I could do anything, raise the professionalism and the ethics of lawyers across the board. You know, we've got stories. I hate learning about so-called bad lawyers, you know, people who prey on other people, mills that crank out volumes of work without understanding the specifics, people that prey on others, victims of crimes or victims of disasters, people who prey on, you know, people that can't speak the primary language. So I would love to fix that, but I honestly don't know how to do that because I don't have that superpower.
Yeah, so many things we want to fix. One thing I would want to fix is how judges are assigned to departments. So I'm a temporary judge for LA County. And so I preside over certain cases like traffic cases, unlawful detainers, small claims cases. And I went to a workshop about for attorneys who are interested in becoming permanent judges. And one of the things I learned there is that if you become a judge, you don't get assigned to a department that you have experience in. So I wouldn't even be able to choose to sit in a family law court just because I have family law experience. I would be assigned to whatever courthouse that they need a judge in. And let's say it's a criminal, you know, or like something that I don't have experience in. So I asked them, like, if I get assigned to something I don't have experience in, then what will happen? And they said, well, we have really good video tutorials that teach you how to preside over those matters. I'm like, really? Like, you know, in family law court, you can't have someone watch a tutorial. Like, it just doesn't work. Like, those years of experience cannot be replaced with a YouTube video. So some of the judges who are assigned to a department where they have no experience in are literally making decisions that affect people's lives based on watching some video tutorials, and they're doing the best they can because that's how our system works. So that's something I would change, where judges get assigned to departments where they actually have, you know, a certain number of years of experience as a requirement.
It's really disillusioning because you really like to think the judge knows what he or she is doing. I mean, really.
Yeah, but some of us don't.
That's not a good place to learn on the job.
No,
that's just my opinion.
All right, so our next question is, what attracted you to become a lawyer?
For me, my undergrad is actually electrical engineering and computer science. I worked as an engineer for Raytheon designing B-2 bombers for a while. And then I went to law school because I wanted to gain education. I had no plans whatsoever of being an attorney. I wasn't like one of those kids that, oh, I want to be a lawyer when I grow up. Nuh-uh, none of that, not even in law school. I just went because I got a full ride to the University of Laverne. And so it was, you know, free education. And I was like, why not? You know, it's great to learn about the legal system. And I didn't even know at that time that IP attorneys had engineering backgrounds, that engineers can transition into IP law so smoothly. So it wasn't until I was studying for the bar exam that one of my colleagues at Raytheon told me that a neighbor of his was a big shot partner at an international law firm. So opportunities opened up after I got the education and passed the bar, and I gave law a try, and here I am 15 years later, you know, expanding into different practices.
That's not too dissimilar than my path, although I'm not an engineer. I went to Cal State Fullerton undergrad, and I got a degree in sociology. About halfway through that journey, I decided that sociology, what I wanted to do in sociology wasn't exactly something that was sustainable for me emotionally, because I wanted to go into the juvenile probation system, and that didn't seem to be a good option for me. So I picked up a business minor and went to work in the marketing department of a subsidiary of AT&T. And that was a really cool job. I learned a lot. So that was a business job. As I was in that job, looking around at lots of people, I felt like I didn't have an opportunity to use my intelligence. I didn't feel like I was helping people. I mean, really, that's kind of what I really wanted to do. I wanted to help people in some capacity, and I wanted to be able to use my intelligence. So for whatever reason, I directed myself to law school. And I tell you, I'm using my intelligence every day. Sometimes I'm burning brain cells every day. It's hard. It's definitely hard, but it's good. It's not ever boring. And then I'm helping people. I'm a business lawyer, and so I'm helping businesses. And businesses have problems, and businesses are out there providing services and products to the community. And so they have a role in our community, and I want to help them do it right. I want to help them do it ethically and legally and responsibly. So I have the privilege and honor to be able to help many businesses run their businesses that way. And then they in turn are keeping people employed. So maybe I'm writing my own script, but I think that helping businesses in what they do is definitely helping people. So that's why I went to law school, and I think it's working out for me.
Yeah, actually, one more thing I wanted to add. I got inspired to go to law school because in college, I dated a guy who was going to Berkeley Law School, because I went to undergrad at Berkeley. And so it's really important who you hang out with. They say that you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with.
Interesting.
Yeah. So who your friends are, who your circle is, it really, affects you. So pick and choose who you want to have in your circle. I was lucky.
Wisely.
To raise the bar.
Yeah, to raise the bar.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. So our last question is, what is the best way to make a resume stand out according to you in the current market?
So a resume and your LinkedIn profile is the first impression that most people will have of you, unless you're meeting at a cocktail party or something like that. The resume and your LinkedIn profile will be your first impression. So you want to make it good. Recognize that resumes, people aren't going to read them very carefully, and they're certainly not going to read to the bottom. So you have to make them short and terse. You have to make them very informational, and you have to make them interesting. That's a tall order, I have to say. It is a tough order. So keep it streamlined. Put the really important things either up top or where you can visually see them. If you're just doing a real quick glance at a resume, what pops out. So, and don't make any mistakes or typos, and never lie.
Totally agree with everything Chris just said. Have you guys used Canva, the app Canva? Yeah. Okay. So I'm not too familiar with Canva. I'm not as tech savvy as the newer generation, but I saw some resume templates on Canva that really caught my eye. It's not like the traditional black and white, line by line resume that Chris and I are probably used to. That's the format my resume was in. But it was really like colorful, and the formatting, like you look at it and it's like visual. And then sometimes I even put a picture on it. And I was like, wow, if I ever had to apply for another job, I would want to change my resume into that format, because that really captured my attention. So yeah, Chris, have you seen that?
I have. And I'll tell you what, I think in the legal profession, lawyers tend to use the old format, very boring, very uninteresting, unattractive. But I think probably in most other arenas, the resumes, they have a little bit of color, not big splashes of color, but maybe some color shading. They'll have information boxes in different places. So like you might have along your left-hand column, a list of skills, and then you have, your purpose statement up there. So non-lawyer resumes are much more interesting. And yes, they are different now than anything that that I've done traditionally for myself. But so yes, look at some samples. And I'm sure Fullerton has a good resource center on that.
Yeah, the new formatting, it definitely stands out, and it captured my attention personally. So,
and I think if you're not except in the legal arena, again, I think if you're not using that, you're doing yourself a disservice. which is unfortunate because that means you have to be savvy in that on top of everything else. It's hard.
And Chris mentioned LinkedIn too. It's not like LinkedIn plus all the other social media. Because interviewers, companies, we look at everything. We will pull up your Facebook, your Instagram, whatever you have on the internet, and use all that to judge you.
Okay, that's good to keep in mind for sure.
Yes. So make sure you know what comes up when you Google your name. Like, you know.
Yeah, you got to be careful. You don't want those pictures of you having too many drinks at the cocktail party. Get those offline.
Okay, so thank you both so much. This actually concludes our Q&A portion of the event. So now what we're going to do is we're going to break out into 2 breakout rooms, one with each of the executives. And then after 20 minutes, the executives will rotate the room. So the students, you just stay in the rooms that you are in. And so I'm going to hand it off to Razi. Is there any more explanation? Okay. Well, I just want to thank everybody. Thank you so much for showing up for our first Meet the Executives of the semester. I think it was a wonderful experience. Thank you so much to Elizabeth Yang and to Chris Kerns. We just wanted to, thank you again for such a wonderful Meet the Executives. A great way to start off the semester. So thank you. And we hope to see all of the students at our upcoming events.
Great. It was fun to be with you all. Good luck.
Yeah. Thanks for having us. It's always great to come and speak to the students. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
What's the next event that we should all know about?
So the next event is going to be the Letters of Love.
It's going to be on Monday.
Yeah.
Our first day back on campus, and it's going to be an in-person event.
What happens on Monday, Janet?
It's called the Letters of Love. We're writing letters of appreciation to people who are working the front lines, to healthcare workers, etc. It's an event that we did a lot last semester, and this is going to be our first event in person where we do Letters of Love in person.
That's terrific. And the center is going to provide snacks for those that attend.
It's going to be Monday from 4 to 5 p.m.
And where will it be? In the building?
It'll be in the College of Business and Economics in room 11 something. It'll be on the flyer. We'll also have
1108.
1108.
And before you leave, I'll just go ahead and redrop the link to all the events that Mark mentioned at the beginning of the event. So if you guys want to open that up before the call ends, and then you guys can browse through and sign up for all of those events.
Yeah.
And if you guys want to see the little flyers for each event, we have them on our Instagram at CSUF CFL.
That's terrific. That's terrific.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everybody.
Have a great weekend, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Chris.
Have a great
Thank you,
weekend.
Elizabeth.
Make sure you connect
you,
with me and
Elizabeth.
Chris
Thank you.
on